I took a walk one moonlit night down paths I've often tread. The stars were shining brightly in the heavens overhead. My thoughts were filled with only me, as often was the case, until I saw the tavern and the keeper's smiling face. There was something in his gestures that drew me to the door. I took a careful look inside, and then I looked some more. The tavern had a cheery air, a feeling very fine. Then I noticed in the window these words upon a sign. We're all living the new life, though few have come to guess that the nature of all new strife holds the key to happiness.
Chagal was with Baba from the beginning, but New Life we did not join. His wife did not like this New Life. They were living in staff quarter. So she was there in staff quarter. And Chakam will go in the night. Wife said, no. She said, no life. You are married now, and you will go away. No guarantee whether you will come back or not. If Baba gives the period, then of course you can go, but he does not give to go. Once you join means it is for all time. I will not be able to see you.
We're all living the new life, though few have come to guess that the nature of all new strife holds the key to happiness. You know, I felt so puzzled by the meaning of that poem. Still I went inside the tavern, 'cause I felt so much at home. I sat down on a tall chair and ordered up some brew. The keeper came with warm brown eyes and a smile that pierced me through. He said good evening to me in a voice of gentle tone. He poured me out a scarlet drink that in the moonlight shone. This wine is all we serve, he said most lovingly, as I looked within the chalice cup at reflections which were me. We're all living the new life, though few have come to guess that the nature of all new strife holds the key to happiness. I placed the cup up to my lips and drank a hearty round. Its sweetness overcame me, and I felt that I would drown. A mellow glow engulfed me from my head down to my feet, yet the flavor that did linger was a taste most bittersweet.
Fortune. Because of mother, she could not do. Could not join the new life. Old mother, so he did not join new life. When new life means no life. Apu are going.
Keeper of the tavern, he poured another cup of wine. I felt this world dissolve away as if by some design. All burdens left me as I gazed into his face, yet I sensed somehow my life was bound to the sign that hung in that place. We're all living the new life, though few have come to guess that the nature of all new strife holds the key to happiness. You know, my friends, I've often heard of seekers after truth, of how they left this world behind and how they spoil their youth. And many times I've laughed out loud at the folly of their days, but since I left the tavern, I've taken up their ways. Now my life hangs strangely on the scales of joy and pain. My only wish is to find the tavern and enter there again. Within me burns an awful thirst, whose only cure is wine, the drink procured by realizing those words that were on that sign.
You know what happened? I was about to tell that story about not knowing what new life is, in spite of her having been in new life and all that. Years passed by, huh? Yeah, and I simply said gypsy life and this and that. Well, it might mean this, you know, that go from place to place. It's a sort of a renunciation and all that sort of thing. It didn't mean anything to me. I simply added one thing, you see. We went out begging, you see, and what it implies might be that we have to continue to beg for love from the Lord and this and that. I tried to I didn't know what to do. They were there with all these guns around me, you know. So I just started wondering as to suppose the people after this was 1970-71, people will come and what is this new life? What could it be? What could it mean? And this and that. And our Lord comes to our rescue. One day, a certain person comes over here, and that person is, I think, Anita. Via. And you know how she was. Now she's not well, I hear that. I haven't seen her for quite many years now. So we are sitting here, few people around, and we are reminiscing of our old days, you know, her old days with Baba and our days with Baba and this and that and all that sort of thing. And she says about the 1930s. when she met Baba first and all that, and how it was that they were there, you see, and there's no time to cut short the whole story. So this is the drama that was played on the in the third visit. So what happens is this, that's what Anita tells. This is 30s mind here, early 30s. In the crowd, Anita tells me that day, it was only for a few hours. People are coming, there's a big hall, people are seated, some people go away after seeing Baba, being introduced and all that sort of thing. Came one young woman, very young, very beautiful, very healthy, and she does not even know why she is there. Nobody is there to introduce her to Baba or anything like that. So she looks here and there to the crowd here, and what's happening? Why are they? They are all facing something. So she turns her face towards Baba. Seeing Baba, all of a sudden she bursts out into tears and cries, and she kneels down before Baba and cries loudly. Baba takes her head and puts her head on his lap, on her knees, and Baba comforts her and soothes her and all that. After a while, Baba lifts her head up, looks into her eyes, and the interpreter is there to interpret. And Baba says, "What's the matter with you? Why are you so miserable? You are so young, so beautiful, so healthy. What's the matter with you? Why are you so miserable?" And she again bursts out into tears and says, I know. I am healthy, I am beautiful, I know I'm young. Not only that, I'm very wealthy. And yet, I'm so miserable that there is no escape. So Baba looks surprised. He took her head and bent down and put it on his feet. And there she again begins to sob and all that, and Baba soothes her, comforts her, and then she calms down. And afterwards Baba lifts her up and says, "There you are. You are no more your own. Now begin to live the new life." Oh, I said, that is the new life. You see how it dawns upon me, I'm hearing now. Begin to live the new life, to love me and to remember me. Go and sit there. That's how she is. Again the cue starts, and how do you do, Mr. Meher Baba, and all that goes on and on and on and on. After about half an hour, Baba calls her again. He says, "Remember what I told you. Now you are beginning to live the new life, to love me and to remember me, and keep happy. You are no more yourself. Go." And Baba embraces her. She goes happily, After she leaves, Baba stops the queue, and those who are there in the hall, Baba addresses them. He says, "Did you see what happened here? I want each of you here to start to live the new life, to love me and to remember me. To begin to live the new life is not to have a new page or a new chapter in your life. It needs to have a new book. To love me and to remember me. Past is past, throw the thing out and begin to love me and remember me." So that is the real meaning of new life. And all will have to one day, sooner or later, millennia passes by. It will be everyone has to live that new life. Whether it be this advent or that advent, is the same one comes again and again, the ancient one, to love him and to remember him. That's all. That's the gist of all this. No amount of austerities, no amount of renunciation can ever help us. Just remember him and love him. And that will play the trick.
The new life held me in tremendous awe. For instance, a new life song. I couldn't always want to hear it. The new life had so much binding. It was a life of total binding. And yet, at one point, I experienced a little breath, just a breath of a freedom that was not because we were not cluttered up with things, not because we were just wandering, but that freedom which Baba refers to, because I even said to myself, my God, if this is the freedom Baba's talking about, why, one would do anything for this. Just a breath of it. And at another time, I seem to see the depth of the new life. And the only similarity I can speak of in terms of, say you are in a boat on very still ocean, and it's so beautiful. You're looking everywhere. You can't see the bottom of the ocean. But suddenly it was like I'd looked down and realized, my God, look what our boat is on. Wow! It's so profoundly, tremendously deep. And that all was something, that's what the new life, just an iota of a glimpse or an idea. And that's why then when I heard the New Life song, in the beginning it was all right. After that, it was too awesome, too deep. The depth was, and it's very deep. That Baba has walked it for all of us. We only followed his footsteps. He has walked it. Baba has walked the New Life.
You know, my friends, I've often heard of seekers after truth, of how they left this world behind and how they spoil their youth. And many times I've laughed out loud at the folly of their days, but since I left the tavern, I've taken up their ways. Now my life hangs strangely on the scales of joy and pain. My only wish is to find the tavern and enter there again. Within me burns an awful thirst, whose only cure is wine, the drink procured by realizing those words that were on that sign. We're all living the new life, though few have come to guess that the nature of old new strife holds the key to happiness, holds the key to happiness, to happiness.